Like many recent drafts, 2019 introduced a ton of great rookies to the NFL world. You've got players like Nick Bosa who came out and played like a borderline all-pro from day one. Then you've got Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray, and Gardner Minshew who all showed franchise QB potential at some point. Recently, we've seen lots of players break out in their second year. Players like Carson Wentz, Christian McCaffrey, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson all had all-pro caliber seasons in year 2. So let's take a look at a couple players who could take a leap in their sophomore season. Keep in mind, I'm not saying these guys are going to be as good as Mahomes or anything, just that they could take their game to a new level. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's go ahead and get the obvious one out of the way. Kyler Murray already played like a top 15 QB in his rookie year, so of course an offseason to grow and the addition of DeAndre Hopkins have primed him to be the next QB to have a breakout sophomore season. The addition of Josh Jones also helped secure that O-line, which was one of the biggest weaknesses of the Cardinals offense. Plenty of people are already expecting an MVP season for Murray next year. While I don't think he'll be quite that good, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Another pretty obvious one here is Drew Lock. The Broncos have easily had one of the best off seasons of any team. While they made numerous additions on defense, the offense is what we're here to talk about. The Broncos signed Melvin Gordon and Graham Glasgow and went on to draft Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler. Add in Courtland Sutton, Phillip Lindsay, and Noah Fant, and this could be one of the best offenses in the league. The only real question mark is Locke himself, but with this many weapons, he'd have to be pretty bad to fail this year. If Locke doesn't take the next step, watch out for the Broncos as legit contenders in the AFC. Terry McLaurin was the best rookie receiver last year in my opinion. His elite speed combined with good route running and fantastic contested catch ability gives you everything you want in a number one receiver. With a new coaching staff bringing improved stability, McLaurin's poised for a breakout year. I'm sure a lot of you are going to bring up Dwayne Haskins in the comments, and I'll admit he wasn't good for a lot of 2019. He isn't on this list by the way, but I definitely expect him to be better next year. Despite his struggles, he greatly improved towards the end of the season. He showed off more of the great ball placement he had in college and just had more big plays in general. Not to mention, according to Pro Football Reference, he had a 7.1% drop percentage, which would have been second highest among starting QBs. If Haskins can look less like the worst starter in the league and more like the Heisman contender he was at Ohio State, it's only going to help McLaurin. Overall, I think with more time to develop and a better surrounding core, McLaurin has a real chance to emerge as a top 15 or even top 10 receiver next year. Pivoting from one third-round receiver to another, we've got Deontay Johnson. Considered a sleeper by a good number of analysts heading into the year, he put up 59 receptions for 680 yards and 5 touchdowns. Keep in mind, this was with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges throwing him the ball for most of the year. If you watched a lot of Steelers games last year, you'll know that calling the quarterback situation a disaster would be putting it lightly. Johnson also only started 12 games last year and drew a good amount of attention since Juju was hurt so often. Despite all this going against him, he showed arguably the best route running of any rookie last year. Getting Big Ben and Juju back healthy should revitalize this offense. Not to mention the Steelers drafted Chase Claypool in the second round to add even more firepower. There's a chance this receiver room gets a little crowded, and James Washington remains a threat to take snaps from Johnson, but I think ultimately Johnson's talent will keep him in a starting role, and as long as he's starting, he's going to thrive. The last player on this list is Brian Burns. The Panthers are quietly second in the NFL in sacks last year, just behind the Steelers. Brian Burns was a big part of that, as he had 7.5 sacks as a rookie. And not counting elite rookies like Nick Bosa, edge rushers usually struggle to transition to the NFL. Sacks are often an extremely overrated stat, but Burns actually did impact QBs when he was on the field. He racked up 4.5 sacks through the first 6 games, and 2 of those came while he was playing through a wrist injury. He slowed down later in the year after surgery for that injury caused him to see fewer snaps. An offseason to get healthy, plus the additions of Stephen Weatherly, Derrick Brown, and Yetur Gross-Matos on the D-line, have Burns set up to establish himself as one of the better edge rushers in the league. If he can build on the production he had at the beginning of last year, he could certainly become a real number 1 edge rusher. Obviously, these aren't the only rookies I expect to improve next season, just a few of the guys I think will make the biggest jump. Jeffrey Simmons, Nasir Adderley, and Josh Allen, the edge rusher, were just a few players who almost made the list. Anyways, if you like this video, drop a like and subscribe for more content. I'm hopefully going to be uploading much more now, so be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell so you get notified whenever I post a video. Comment below and let me know what you think of this list. Do you think I'm too high on somebody? Is there anyone I missed? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.